All right, this morning from downtown Plymouth, the studios of Career Planning Specialists, we welcome Tom Borg from Tom Borg Consulting. Tom is famous, and this is partially congratulatory because Tom is featured in the January-February issue of the Small Business Association magazine Focus, and Tom is a big contributor here. You're so famous. I'm just look at this. How to thrive in a Michigan economy.
Love it.
Oh, I love this. I love this. Isn't this good? I'm gonna give this copy to you.
Well, I love that, yeah.
I'm gonna give the copy to you. You can
Thank
keep
you.
that. Well, I'll tell you what. Let me put it over here,
Sure.
so you don't have to hold it. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about summing up how to thrive in a Michigan economy. Then I have some questions for you.
Sure. Well, Jim, as you know, it's been the talk of a lot of gurus out there. The fact is that times have changed and we have to change with them. In the work I was doing with that article, I was interviewing different CEOs from different companies, the ones that were really doing well, and I asked them, I said, what are you doing differently that's allowing your company to thrive? Not survive, but thrive. And the things they came up with were from company to company somewhat different, but essentially there are some real nuggets I pulled out of those interviews that I believe any organization or any company could apply in their particular situation and thrive as well.
Could you give us a couple of those little nuggets?
Well, one of the big ones right off the bat is technology. You cannot, as one gentleman said, Roger Jansen, CEO of ThinkWise, he said, Tom, you are not going to be able to take a horse and buggy and expect to get to work on time. And what he was referring to is the technology today that is really mandatory for businesses to be participating in and to be using. You can't come up with the same excuse that, well, you know, I'm really not much of a computer buff and I really don't really get into emails. You just can't do that anymore.
So none of that stuff about my children, my grandchildren, you should see my nephew with video games, that doesn't fly anymore.
Nope.
All right.
Does not.
And even if you hate things like social networking and so forth, still got to do it.
Yes. And that's the whole key, I think. It's really to learn how to do those kinds of things and to do them in a way that's going to be productive.
Okay. Tell me about, see, I actually read the article, so I know about some of the nuggets in there. But tell me about the people nugget that's in there. That leads me to an issue.
Well, one of the people in there that I interviewed, I think it was Bridget Lemmerman, she suggested that one of the ways they're building their business is by people contact. They're contacting their clients, and they have about 1,000 of them. They're contacting them at least once a quarter, and the good ones, the bigger ones, even more, like every month. So that's critical. In terms of high tech, you got to have the high touch. So it's not like it's going to be just something you can send out emails and this is going to be the great way to reach your clients, or whether you have a blog or you have a website that has updates on a regular basis of some interesting information. I think those are all helpful, but this business of being in touch with your clients, that's a big deal.
Wow. Okay, so in spite of Facebook and all the technology that we talked about, the low-tech way of picking up the phone or dropping in for a visit, spending a few dollars on a lunch, that might be important.
Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, one of the statistics I just read the other day is that you have a 15 times greater chance of getting business from your present clients. In other words, they can refer people to you, and you have a 15 times greater opportunity to close the business than you would on a cold call.
Okay.
So there it is again, when you start to talk about keeping in touch with your present client base, they are a great source of new referrals.
By the way, folks, you know, Tom is an expert on sales, and how many years have you been a
28.
28 years. Whew. So a lot of accumulated knowledge in that. Well, I have a question for you now. You are a business consultant. I am a career planner, so I deal with the people side, and I've noticed something, and I'd like you to comment on this. It's been an employer's market for a long time as far as employees, and I noticed that a lot of people who have applied for jobs have been treated in a less than nice manner, put that mildly. And so either no acknowledgement of their application or treated in a discourteous and disrespectful manner.
And you believe that's happening because?
Well, because if you have an abundance of people out there that are knocking on your door for jobs, you could be rather short-sighted. And being a business consultant, I'd like you to comment on it, because from what I can see, there are two aspects to this. One of them is these people are potential customers. And then second of all, you don't know who they're going to be working for eventually. You may be knocking on their door. And then thirdly, if word gets out that how you treated people, and I'm thinking of some employers that are high-profile employers in particular, that could almost neutralize some of the marketing that you're doing. I wonder if you could comment on that a little bit, because you've done this article here.
Sure, absolutely. Well, Jim, it's like Earl Nightingale used to say. If you're not aware of Earl Nightingale was one of the greatest self-development philosophers that existed here in the 1900s. I think he was around from around 1960ish. He was really big with his company, Nightingale Conant, until he passed away back in the late 80s.
But most of the greats got their start there.
Oh yeah.
You know, in the motivational business, the Nightingale Conant Corporation, many of the greats, yeah.
Absolutely. Well, one of the things he always talked about was the fact that there's this golden boomerang theory, golden boomerang. And that is, what you send out comes back. If you send out good vibrations, you take care of people, you treat them well, in return, those same people will treat you well, and if not those same people, other people who you haven't even met yet will treat you well. It's like kind of like you set up a vibrational level, and it's what you send out comes back.
So in a way, there's a saying, and I don't know who said it, you know, but it's it goes kind of like this: watch who you mess over on your way up, because you're going to meet them on the way back.
That's right. That's it.
And so today's person that you treated disrespectfully or roughed them up in an interview could be tomorrow's person that you're sitting in front of them going, well, 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 look who's here. I remember you.
Absolutely. That's a very good point. I think it's kind of myopic in the approach that when business owners do that, or their managers do that in terms of their hiring process, it's just short-sighted, and it's bound to come back to haunt them.
Well, that brings me to a question, and certainly you're very experienced in this area. Tom, do you think that, well, let me preface my question this way. I believe that everybody sells. Would you agree? Everybody sells.
Everyone's in sales.
Okay. So either you do it well or you stink. Would you agree with that too?
Absolutely.
So consequently, sales training could be a valuable investment for HR people, recruiters, people who do interviewing. You know, one of the things that I've heard from many people is how maladroit interviewers are, how clumsy they are in conducting interviews, and I'm not talking about asking, you know, supposedly illegal questions, those kind of things. I don't find people are overly concerned about that. But I find that, in a way, understanding sales could be important for these individuals.
Sure.
Because you're actually selling your company, I think, to them.
Absolutely. And that is happening in every interview. The good prospects out there, people are looking for work, looking for a new job or career, they're pretty sharp, and they're usually talking more than just one company. And if you're going to be in the running now have the opportunity to hire that individual, you better do an excellent job of convincing that individual that your company is the best place to work. So
Great.
it works both ways. There's a lot of
Great.
sharp people out there that are, recruiters are certainly calling on a regular basis. They know that they can help these people get into a new company, and certainly these companies have to prove to them, prove to these individuals that it's going to be a good place to work. So that's, everything's right with that approach. Now, when you start to think about this concept about everyone's in sales, what is sales? Selling, I remember Zig Ziglar's definition, which I think is very, very appropriate, and that is, selling is helping people get what they need and want. That's it. Helping people get what they need and want. It's an educational process. We're not trying to sell something so much as we're trying to help people buy something. And if we keep that in mind, I think that'll help us guide us in every way of our life. I'm talking about your personal life, your family, with your associates at work, and with the clients or customers you're calling on.
Fantastic. Well, some great nuggets from Tom Borg. What's your website, Tom?
Our website is www.tomborgconsulting.com.
So it might be a good idea in 2011 if you want to take your business or yourself from where you are to the next level, to visit Tom Borg's website, and then perhaps to pick up the phone and call you at what number? What's
The
the best
number is 734-812-0526. Again, that's 734-812-0526.
Well, thanks a lot, Tom, for coming and seeing us. I know you're very busy, and again, for those of you who can get this issue of the SBAM, or Small Business Association of Michigan magazine, this is the January-February 2011 issue, and I suggest you get a hold of this and read Tom's article.